Members, we have guests with us in the Assembly today. Mr. Cooper, back to guest introductions. You are recognized for your guest introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Jones' amazing fourth grade class from Matsuyama Elementary School in the Pocket area of my district, who are here viewing today's session from the gallery. Please give them a warm welcome.
File item 143, AB 1816 by Mr. Dowling. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1816 by Assemblymember Dowling and others, enacting land to irrigation districts.
Mr. Dowling, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Today I'm presenting AB 1816 to Lake Irrigation District, which is in District Bill, which is in my district. AB 1816 will simply modify the board's eligibility criteria to allow landowners who reside within the district or adjacent to the district to run for the director in the division in which they own land. This bill has enjoyed bipartisan support and has no opposition. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Dowling. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Aye 62, no 0. Measure passes. File item 144, pass and retain. File item 145 is AJR 28. Clerk will read.
Assembly Joint Resolution 28 by Assemblymember Obernolte and others, relative to daylight saving time.
Mr. Obernolte, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, there is a large body of statistical evidence that shows that the practice of changing our clocks twice a year is simply not good for us. If you look at the day following the change to and from daylight savings time every year, you see a significant increase in the rate of workplace accidents, a significant increase in the rate of traffic accidents, and a significant spike in the suicide rate. The Universal Federal Time Act gives states two options when it comes to the observance of daylight savings time. Either states can elect to observe daylight savings time in between the dates set by Congress, or states can elect to not observe daylight savings time at all. This resolution, AJR 28, would ask Congress to give us a third option, the option of permanently observing daylight savings time. Colleagues, there is a large and growing body of research that suggests that this practice would have significant positive effects for the state of California. For example, the research says that we would see a 13% drop in the rate of pedestrian fatalities, that we would see a 3% drop in the rate of traffic fatalities, and that we would see an over 7% reduction in the rate of robberies. That's why I believe that this is worthy of your support, and I respectfully request your aye vote. And it's important to note, colleagues, this actually would not make any change to our current practice. The voters of California will ultimately decide this issue. This would just give us another tool to use in our discussion. And Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request that the first roll be open for co-authors.
Thank you, Mr. Obernolte. Seeing no discussion debate on the item, Mr. Obernolte is asking the first roll be open for co-authors. The clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors on AJR 28. This is for co-authors, members. There are 50, clerk will close the roll. There are 53 co-authors added on the resolution. This requires a roll call vote. Clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 60, noes 2. Resolution is adopted. File items 146 through 157. Pass and retain on Senate third reading. File item 158 SCR 131. Clerk will read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 131 by Senator Bell, relative to National Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mr. Ridley Thomas on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise to present Senate Concurrent Resolution 131 on behalf of the senator from the San Jose area. As we know, mental illness is one of the leading causes of disabilities in the United States. It affects 1 out of every 4 families, and it affects not just the person with the illness, but those who care for and love the person afflicted. We're glad that California is taking steps to improve our mental health delivery system, particularly as it relates to the homeless, but we hope that SCR 131 will continue to erase stigma, increase participation of all communities in mental health services and screenings, and ultimately bring about better care, smarter investment in homeless services and psychiatric bed in capacity for the workforce that will serve those suffering with mental illness. With that, Mr. Speaker, I would respectfully request an aye vote.
Would you like co-authors, Mr. Ridley Thomas?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, Mr. Ridley Thomas asking the first roll be open for co-authors on the resolution. Clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors adding on SCR 131. This is co-authors, members. The clerk will close the roll. There are 72 co-authors added. Without objection, we may take a voice vote on the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Moving to consent calendar, members. Does any member wish to remove an item from the consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, the clerk will read the second-day consent calendar.
Assembly Bill 2568 by Assemblymember Atkins, enacting into Health and Human Services.
The clerk will open the roll on the second-day consent calendar. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 76, no 0. The consent calendar is adopted. Clerk will read the top bill on the second-day consent calendar. We will defer a reading of the additional bills until later in the session. Clerk will read. Members, we will defer the reading of the additional items. Members, we are moving to announcements and adjournments in memory. If we could have your respectful attention, members. The following members were granted prior permission to speak on an adjournment in memory. Members, please take your seats. Mr. Alejo, you are recognized for your German in memory.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With permission to read, please.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker and members, it is with a heavy heart that I rise today to adjourn in memory of my good friend, the legendary civil rights photojournalist Bob Fitch, a distinguished resident of California, a renowned photographer, and a champion for civil rights, peace, and social justice. Bob Fitch's 60-plus years of advocacy began as a young child who was moved by the specific sections in the New Testament, specifically the Beatitudes of Jesus, that said, if someone is hungry, feed them. If they need clothing, give them clothing. If they are lonely and they need company, be company. During his teen years, while attending school in the city of Berkeley, Bob was captivated and influenced by community organizers, their consciousness, and fairness towards all people. In 1965, his activism led him to become a staff photographer for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, led by Dr. Martin Luther King. Traveling throughout Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, Bob documented day-to-day civil rights movement events that included local community organizing, violence against African-American citizens, numerous demonstrations, voter registration drives, and black political campaigns. It was Hosea Williams, a lieutenant for Dr. King, who once told him, Bob, we can't send African-American journalists and photographers into the field because they'll get beat up and killed. Every week you'll come back with a new story in print and photos, and you'll send them to the major black print media around the nation. Bob was present at some of the most intimate moments of the civil rights movement, such as the meeting between Dr. King, Stokely Carmichael, and other civil rights leaders in Greenwood, Alabama, Mississippi, just before Carmichael broke away, invoking the Black Power slogan. Bob captured many moments that are now global history. He captured the powerful image of a 106-year-old man named El Fondren in Batesville, Mississippi, who was born before the Civil War began and registered to vote for the very first time in 1966, as captured in Bob's amazing photo. He also took photos of Dr. King in his office with the photo of Mahatma Gandhi on the wall. And it was that photo that was later used by the sculptors of the MLK Memorial in Washington, D.C. that was completed in 2011. But he was also there during our nation's most challenging times. When Dr. King was assassinated in 1968, the King family asked Bob to be the family photographer for the ceremony that brought our nation to a standstill. Bob's photojournalism later continued through the images of Dorothy Day and the Catholic Workers Movement, Rosa Parks, Joan Baez, Ron Dellums, the Jesuit priests Daniel and Philip Barragan, and the farm worker rights movement, with the powerful images of Dolores Huerta, Marshall Gans, Lariat Leong, and Cesar Chavez. Even the U.S. Post Office chose to use his modified version of Bob's photo for the 2003 Cesar Chavez U.S. Postal stamp. Bob was also my dear friend and a dear friend to the Latino community. When he moved to Watsonville, we soon became close friends. So much so that he volunteered to become my assembly campaign photographer and even my wedding photographer just 3.5 years ago. Bob made an impact on everyone he met. He was a cheerful and caring individual who inspired others to follow a greater purpose, to achieve great things in life while giving back to others in the process. But last Friday, on April 29th, after a long battle with Parkinson's disease, Bob passed away peacefully at his home in Watsonville at the age of 76. He is survived by his partner, Karen Schaefer, daughter, Nicole Makawa Alexander, his son, Daniel Jackson Ravens, who is the chairman of the Washington State Democratic Party, his other son, Benjamin Andrew Fitch, 2 grandchildren, and his sister, Shelley Herding. Mr. Fitch's passing was felt across the nation. In recognition, the New York Times wrote a lengthy story just last Tuesday about his life's work, which speaks highly of his place in American history. Bob's legacy lives on through his family and the more than 200,000 images that he captured throughout his life. Stanford University had the foresight to speak to Bob and acquire his photographic archives before his passing, but Bob insisted that hundreds of his most famous photographs needed to be placed online for the public to be able to access them and download for free. Bob would always say that it was the ordinary working people who are the real heroes of social change. That is why we honored him during the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 during a ceremony on this very floor 2 years ago. and his images were displayed in the rotunda of this Capitol. Today, we pause to commemorate a great man who dedicated his life and his career championing civil rights, social justice, and equality through his powerful images. Members, Nelson Mandela once said that death is something inevitable, but when a man has done what he considers to be his duty to his people and to his country, he can rest in peace. Bobby Fitch, you can now rest in peace, and you can now rest in power, as your legacy and your images will live on forever. Members, I respectfully ask that we adjourn in memory of our good friend, Mr. Bob Fitch.
Ms. Baker, for your adjournment in memory.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I rise today to ask that we adjourn in memory of Annette Marie Del Beccaro, a constituent of mine who passed on April 29th peacefully with her loved ones with her. Anne was born on August 5th, 1932, to Carl and Loretta LaRusso Ferenzi. She put her college dreams aside to help support her family during the Great Depression when her father became temporarily disabled. And like many of her generation who missed college and lived through the Great Depression, they were profoundly influenced by their outlook, and that included Anne as well. Her attitude and behavior throughout her life was greatly shaped by living through that time. She was determined to secure better opportunities for her children and insisted that they all graduate from college. She eventually herself earned her associate degree from Diablo Valley College in her 50s with all straight A's. She lived a life of devotion to her family, our local community, and her faith. At her parish in Danville, she helped establish programs like the annual baby shower, where the community comes together every year to gather essential baby items to donate to expecting mothers. She helped establish the Rose Campaign, spiritual adoption prayer, the Walk for Life, the Respect for Life Ministry, Celebrate Life Day, Perpetual Nova, and visitation to elderly programs at her parish. And for all her exceptionally hard work, Anne was named St. Isidore's Woman of the Year by the Oakland Diocesan Council of Catholic Women. She was appointed by Archbishop Vigneron to the Diocesan Council, on which she served for 5 years. And most notably, Anne was granted the apostolic blessing by Pope Benedict XVI in 2013. Anne also adopted a Vietnamese family during the refugee crisis in the 70s when she was raising her own family and actively participating in our community. She loved playing cello in high school. She loved lemon meringue pie, chocolate, the jitterbug, jazz, crossword puzzles, roller coasters, and many more great things. She was also proud of her rich Italian heritage and had the great recipes and traditions to show for it. Anne is survived by her 8 children, Ed, Dave, Mark, and Tom Del Beccaro, Mary Williams, Diane Brody, Lisa Laurie, and Nicole Swafford, 21 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, 2 sisters, Carolyn Schweitzer and Ginny Kaplan, and a brother, Vic Ferenzi, and sadly predeceased by her grandson, Andrew Lane, with whom she is now. She was determined for all her children not only to attend college and graduate, but to make sure they were committed to their community. Anne was a woman with a large heart, great hopes, and enormous will. And I ask that this body adjourn in her memory today, Annette Marie Del Beccaro. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Mr. Gordon, you are recognized for your adjournment in memory.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to ask that the Assembly adjourn in memory of Phyllis Quilter. Phyllis died on April 7th at the age of 93. She was born in Philadelphia, and during World War II, she went to work at General Electric as a draftsperson. It was there that she met her first husband, Frank Bloom. In June of 1944, they were married. But shortly thereafter, Lieutenant Junior Grade Bloom shipped out to sea, serving on the USS Princeton during World War II. After World War II, he returned home. The two of them continued their work at GE, and shortly thereafter, they were transferred by General Electric to San Francisco. Frank worked at GE while Phyllis began modeling and doing commercials for Langendorf Bread Company. Later, she left work to raise her 2 sons and became very actively involved in her community. She served on numerous boards of nonprofits, was a member of the grand jury, and was very instrumental in the formation of a new city in our county, Portola Valley. 1974, Frank died. Shortly thereafter, she remarried Rear Admiral Joseph Quilter, and they spent the last years of their lives together, traveling and enjoying each other's company. I got to know Phyllis when I went to work in 1976 for the YMCA in Redwood City. She was on the board of directors there, and for the next 20 years, Phyllis served on the board of directors of every nonprofit that I managed. She was an incredible friend, a delightful woman, cared tremendously about her community, and gave compassionately to all. I miss my friend Phyllis, and I'm glad that we can adjourn today in her memory.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Members, moving very briefly back to guest introductions. Ms. Baker, you have some guests that have arrived.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I'm pleased to introduce to you from Moore Elementary School the fourth grade classes of Miss Gall, Miss Harsma, and Miss Carolan, who've come to study our California history today. They're up in the gallery and standing right now. Let's wave a big hello and warmly welcome them. Thank you.
Members, I am prepared to lift the call on file item 142. That's AB 2748. The clerk will post. All members vote who desire to vote. 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 All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. We will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 28, noes 32. Measure fails. Mr. Gatto notices reconsideration. Members, an announcement. There are several committees meeting upon adjournment of session. Banking and Finance Committee will be meeting in room 444. And Governmental Organization GEO Committee is in the Rules Committee room. Members, we have remaining bills on the second day consent calendar. The clerk will read the remaining bills on the second day consent calendar.
Assembly Bill 2767.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1553.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1559 with urgency.
Ayes 76, Ayes 76, no zero on the urgency. Ayes 76, no zero on the bill.
Assembly Bill 1739.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1775.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1875.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1880.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1901.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1923.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1932.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1974.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2063.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2074.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2154.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2194.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2247.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2248.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2278.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2325.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2336.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2396.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2404.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2483.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2488.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2504.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2529.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2570.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2605.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2635.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2679.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2716.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2732.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2741.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2747.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2843.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2859.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2869.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2872.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2874.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2888.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2889.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2891.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2903.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2904.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2909.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1889.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2196.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2910.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2010.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2265.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2911.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 2105.
Ayes 76, no zero.
House Resolution 45.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Bill 1850.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 124.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 114.
Ayes 76, no zero.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 123.
Ayes 76, no zero.
And Senate Concurrent Resolution 124.
Ayes 76, no zero. Members, the session schedule is as follows. Friday, May 6th, no check-in session, no floor session. Monday, May 9th, floor session at 1 p.m. All other items remaining will be passed and retained. All motions shall be continued. Seeing and hearing no further business, I'm ready to entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Chow moves. Mr. Gallagher seconds. That this House stands adjourned until Monday, May 9th at 1 p.m. Quorum call is lifted.